All right, everybody, how we doing tonight? All right, I want to get my screen going. Give me a second. Okay, double check. Can everybody see my screen and hear me clearly? Okay, appreciate it. All right, give it another, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. The clicker's still moving on here. All right, welcome to the webinar. It is Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. This is Steve Maher with Beat the Market Maker. Happy to be here. Welcome back, everybody, new and returning students. We are almost done, man. We're done with the stretch. Right? I'm supposed to be down with the stretch. Okay, so look, 74 days behind us, 17 to go, 109 to the year end. That's it. It's ticking off. You got about, I don't know, week and a half left in this quarter. It'll be October 1st before you know it. Well, 15 days. 10 trading days. Goes fast, man. Right? You remember when I was back here? Now here we are. 5, 10. That's it. Then we're into the next quarter. So where are you at with everything? What's going on with you guys? All right, I'm not going to go over that. I want to get right into some stuff, but I'd like to hear from you. You guys have been sending me some stuff, some good, some bad, some in between. But you got to make up your mind, man. I'm going to blow your mind with some stuff today. It's crazy and exciting, but it's always been there. I just want to put it into your realm, put it into your environment, let you think about it for the next couple of months and then see how you feel going into the first of the year. Yes, I know some of you are brand new. Appreciate having you in the it's my pleasure to have you in the group and get you going in the right direction. So yes, you have we'll talk about this mapping out your year stuff. This will all be, I'll re-go over this at the first of the quarter, first week of October. But for right now, just keep going through the material, get yourself situated, find your spot within the spot. Okay, so got this FTMO stuff. You know, I never mention anybody's names, but this gentleman passed, and let's look at his numbers. He did some good stuff. So got to have 5 minimum trading days, right? He accomplished that. Max daily loss not to exceed 5,000. He's good there. Right, max total loss under 10. Did it. His profit target was 5K. He's at 17. It's not too bad. Right, more than 3 times the target. It's going to be a nice check for him. So he has a $50,000 qualifying account. He's at 17 grand. That's 67.9. His average profitable trade is about 450. His average loss is around 3 something. Those aren't bad. The numbers are decent, right? 1.29. But here's the thing that's insane. This guy is really making some good entries. 91.5% profitable. So almost 92, 91.5% win rate. That means that 9.5 trades out of 10, he's hitting it. So he'd hit at that rate, if he could sustain that. So 91 out of 100 trades would be profitable. His profit factor, this is the number, man. For every dollar he puts on the table, he's getting back almost 14 bucks. So every dollar that's put at risk, he's getting back $14. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. All right, so on the congratulations side, I didn't have his permission to mention his name, so I will not. It's not how you guys are. You're going to attack him. And then on the other side of the coin, we got some emails. This is, I don't know, I'm going to address this today, and I'm going to show you some numbers that are going to blow you away. So anyway, I don't know if my buddy's here that wrote me this, but I'm sure he recognizes it. Just put a quick Y in there if you're here, brother. So he's going to crank out some issues for me about staying in trades and headbanding stuff. That's how this email started. And he's having an issue is that when he hits his target, it goes for 50 to 70 pips, but he got out at 30. So he's trying to obey the rules, 30 pips and I'm out. Kills me to see some pairs keep going. It shouldn't kill you. You should be happy that you got your 30 pips. But here's the issue is that the fear of missing out or missing out on something, that's not the right fear. It's a scarcity or a fear of loss. There's abundance in 30 pips. It's just not being worked correctly. And what happens is I tell you this all the time, there's three facets to the business. There's three sides. But the problem is that most people focus on only one side of the business, that's getting in and getting out. And then they never go to the next level, which is scaling using the spreadsheet and growing on compounding and percent return on equity versus trying to get more pips out of something. So what happens is that's oh my God, I went for 70 pips. I should have stayed in. I mean, you could say that shit about anything. It's a scarcity and loss, right, to abundance. The business is about money. It's not about how many pips you get. Because if you get 1,000,000 pips with penny lots, it's not the same as 100,000 pips with 50, 60, 100 contracts on. And that's where you're missing the boat. And I talk about this all the time, and only a handful of people, I'm going to show you what those people are doing today, and it's going to blow you away. You have to hit all facets of the business. How do you do that? Perfect a great entry. Could be a flip, an M, Apex Nadery thing. It could be a hole-in-one off the open, Jim's trade. Find your spot. Find your spot in this group. Bounce trade, what do you like? What resonates with you? I talked about this last session. You got to find something that's easy for you to see that resonates with you. And then once you master that, so the person that wrote me this email, right, he can take 30 pips out, but he's pissed off that he ain't getting 50 and 70. Okay, what about when you take 70 and it goes for 190 million? What do you do then? That happens too. What do? You stop looking at this shit and you start looking at compounding and spreadsheet, and you grow money, you don't grow pips. A pip is a pip. You're never, ever going to get every pip out of the market. It's absolutely impossible. Some days GBP will run for $1.25. Some days it'll run for 30 in consolidation. It chops, you get your 30, and you get on with your life. You have to use math and the spreadsheet, and just stop telling me stupid shit about how the market keeps going. The market does this. Man, it goes 3 times ADR every week. Did you get every single pip out of the ADR spread from weekly high to weekly low? Of course you didn't. The goal is to use multiple facets of the business to scale your account and to make money. That's what it's about. This stuff that I get, and listen, I'm not picking on this person. He's not the only one. I get this shit. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I say something to trigger it, but I get emails. He's not the only one that wrote me that oh, the market's really moving right now. I'm getting 30 or 35, and you're aggravated that you're getting 30 or 35. The reason anyone would get aggravated is they're not making the money that they're supposed to be making, or in their mind that they're supposed to be making. That's what causes frustration for people, right? If you could take 30 pips out, but if you're using minis, it's $30. Where are you going with that, right? Dinner? And I don't mean disrespect to somebody that's a lot of money to. It's just you got to understand the business you're in. There's a huge open float in this market on a regular basis. You need to carve out a consistent, steady amount of pips, control the risk, and use math. That's how the business works. Take a daily float, 30, 40, 50, whatever the number is. But the thing is, you got to take it consistently. You can't get 50 pips one day and 20 pips the next day and try to hold on for 100 and get stopped out with 25. That is not how you make money in this business. Okay? Take a daily float. 30 pips is a great place to start. Control the downside and scale. This is the last step once all the pieces are in place. But I guarantee you the people that are writing me these emails aren't doing it. And I don't know how many times I have to do this presentation and talk about this damn sheet, but let's talk about it for a minute. Okay? Take your starting balance. The spreadsheet is in the student folder. It's everywhere. It's in the forum. It's somewhere. And if you don't have it, write into support or my assistant or myself, and we'll get it to you. It's every time I talk about this sheet, somebody pops it in Skype for me, so it'll be there. You want to risk 2%? That's a modest number. You can do 1% risk. Stop loss per trade 15, 30. This is just 2R. Okay, so you have every dollar you risk, you return at least 2, maybe more. All right, start with a $150,000 account. That seems to be a qualifying amount that most people can handle and afford to do the test for that, and you risk 2%. So now start thinking about something for a minute here. Okay, here's your account, 150. What does it take to make a 100% return on the account? Okay, right here, close enough, right? How many trades is that? These are blocks of 10, 10, 19. 19 trades. Can you bang out 19 trades in a month and make a 100% return on the account? Yes. Take the amount of weeks in the month, 4. Take your trading days, 4 or 5. 5 trading days divided by 20. How many trades do you need? You need 4 trades. Can you do that? Can you handle that? Can you sit through 1 or 2 sessions and take opportunity? It's just math, but the problem is no one's doing it. So it's frustrating for me. Okay, so I'm going to show you an email from a guy in the group that is absolutely slaying it. I do not have his permission to use his name. I will not. And I blocked out some telling information so you guys don't bombard this dude in the forum. But he is a very active trader. He trades a couple of sessions. So you have to figure out how this is going to fit into your life. But when you know it's possible, maybe you'll have a different spin on things in your mind. So here goes. Sorry for the really late reply. I had my blah, blah, blah going on. All right, so I did not place in the trading competition. I mentioned the top 5 traders had 5,000% growth. This is in 30 days, by the way. Oh, I did take a funding challenge with my Forex funds and pass phase 1. Soon I'll have a certificate to show you. Thank you for all your help. My trading has improved tremendously. Okay, so this is a 30-day cycle. He finished with 1,000%, 1,000.034% or something like that. So he had a $100,000 account. He took it to $1,034,000. It was a qualifying account. The people that were in the group with him that exceeded 5,000% in 30 days took a $100,000 account and turned it into 5 million. Okay, did you think that was possible? What do you think those guys on Wall Street are doing? What do you think's going on with those algos and those guys sitting in front of their desk for 3 sessions? You think they're screwing around for 25, 30% return? The numbers, when you compound and grow your account with all facets of the business, are insane. Did you ever think anyone could run a sub 4-minute mile? When I was growing up, it was impossible. Somebody holds the record right now at 3 minutes, 40 seconds. He's not from the USA, by the way. No one ever thought a sub 4-minute mile was possible until somebody did it, right? He just made it under 359, 358, and now it's 340, shaved it down. Why? Because nobody believed it could be done until it was. Did you know that people can make a 5,000% return in 30 days? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Now you know. But how are they making those numbers? If you have an account with $10,000 in it and you're trading 1 lot and the account goes to 20,000 and you're still trading 1 lot, you are not compounding and growing the account correctly. Taking more trades or getting more pips out of 1 trade is not going to make you successful. What makes you successful is running the sheet on the same account. You do not take the same number of lots here that you would down here. you're missing out on your leverage and the things that the dealer gives you to stuff back down his throat. You're not taking advantage of those things that are available to you, the tools that I've laid out for you, and the tools that the dealer actually gives you in hopes that you'll blow the account. Because when you know that a sub 4-minute mile is possible, or that a plus 5,000% month is possible, or a plus 1,000% is possible, I should have just rocked your world tonight if you didn't know. Are you okay with making 30%? Sticking to a fixed lot size and not growing the account the proper way? Now that you know better? I'm asking you to run a sub 4-minute mile in the business. I'm asking you to stretch yourself a little bit and open your eyes to the shit that's around you that I've been talking about this stuff since the beginning of time. Okay, so how does this work? What's this spreadsheet thing, Steve? You said it 9 times. Let's make it 10 for the sweep and see what you guys think. You put the balance of your account right here. You put your risk 2%. Those guys aren't risking any more than 2 or 3%. They're not going crazy. Those number returns are based on foundational principles that we talk about. It's nothing crazy or out of the ordinary. Stop loss per trade 15, 30, 2R. Okay, those are solid numbers. You can make a living off that, a hell of a living. Okay, so now you put in a trade. These are in blocks of 10. Every one of these are blocks of 10. Take your first trade, you enter in win or loss, your profit goal 6,000. But you notice as you scale up in lots, the profit goal changes all the way down. You're not making $6,000 when there's 300 grand in the account anymore. You're making 12,000 a trade. That's double. But if you have 300,000 in the account and you're not changing your lot size and changing your risk, you're still going to be making 6,000 when the leverage that's available to you should be double that. That's where the mistakes are being made. Not, oh, I wish I can get another 30 pips out of a trade. The longer you're in the market in a trade, the more likelihood that you'll get a retracement or something will reverse. Take your float, scale up on the next trade, and go again. That's how it's done. Everything else is bullshit. Oh, Steve, I squeezed 190 pips out of one trade. Man, that's freaking great. I think it's fantastic. But I notice you have a $300,000 account and you're trading 2 minis. Right? That's the problem. 190 pips means nothing to me. It's $190, it's 19,000, or it's 190,000, depending on the person and lot size taking it. But that's the difference between being a pro and doing something like this that you thought was impossible until 10 minutes ago, or taking $6,000 on a growing account over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to send me an email that you're frustrated that trades run, that's the job. That's what they do. And it's easy to look at something after the fact and go, oh, I should have stayed in that for the rest of my life and I'd be up 20 more pips. If you work all sides of the business will pay you a sick amount of money. But the problem is that you master the entry, okay? You're hitting your TPs on a regular basis, using a stop, and then you're not scaling the account. And that's the source of frustration for me, because how many times do I got to say it? I'm hoping tonight's the charm. I'm hoping I don't get any more emails that like, I can make 30 pips blind. Okay, then you owe me a yacht master. If you can make 30 pips blind, then you're days away from this. Are you going to be mad at me if you go all in and you make 800% instead of 5,000? I hope not. For you new guys that don't know, I have a standing order that if you have this kind of success, you owe me a yacht master. Anyway, I hope this person's not mad at me for putting this email out there, but it's frustrating for me because I get this email too often, man. And this is not, I know the person that wrote this is probably here. Don't be mad at me, brother, but this should not be killing you. This should be killing you. because you are not doing this if you're not hitting better numbers. And listen, not everybody's cut out to make those numbers. It takes work. It takes time. But the thing is that a lot of you didn't know that that was possible. Okay? Think about this for a minute. This could be a monthly block, right? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Okay? What is the return on 150,000 at 6%? 4 times? It's 4 times. That's 400%. Okay? If you can work through 2 blocks of this in a week, then what's possible in 2 weeks? What's possible in 4? 800%? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. This is possible. Okay, someone made the comment 30 is a joke, 50 is harder. Okay, then if it's a joke and you're not making this kind of money, the joke's on you. No offense. If you can grab 30 pips, I don't want to hear another word about poverty and about problems. If you can grab 30 pips as a joke, then poverty stops with you. Financial struggles stop with you. And if they don't, shame on you. Nothing but love, brother, by the way. I'm saying it with the right intent in my heart. Hope you understand. But the thing is that these things have been out there, and you know how it's like there's something in your brain. It's a reticulum or something. Tony Robbins talks about it. Can't think of it right now. Maybe someone could fill me in. But what happens is you buy a blue Honda, and all of a sudden you notice blue Hondas all over the place. Did everybody go out and buy a blue Honda at the same time as you? No. They've been around, but they're in your realm. They're on your mind now. It's your brain's open to the concept. So what I'm asking you to do is open your brain to the concept of expanding more than just taking 30 pips out of the market, to scaling an account. I'm not asking you to sit in front of there and drive yourself crazy, but I'm asking you that every time you take a trade, you should be compounding and figuring out how to get to these numbers at the bottom here, to where you're making 30,000 a trade, 50,000 a trade. This is doable. Okay, and when you get to those numbers, and this is funded stuff, by the way. This is a funding challenge. These guys are getting funded. They're in the group. There's a handful of them. It's very quiet. They asked me not to talk about it, but I don't know what happened in the last couple of weeks, but it's been a source of frustration for me. I got a lot of emails. This person that wrote this is not the only one, man. So I'm not picking on you, brother. Nothing but love, man. I hope you understand. But you were just the last one in my inbox, and I grabbed it and screenshotted it. This is not the answer that's killing you, that goes for more. This is the answer. This is the last piece of the puzzle that a lot of people are missing. Because when I look at your sheets, you're taking $3,000, the account's growing, and you're all the way down here, and you're still taking, that's your TP. That sucks. Your TP should be not 3,000. I'm sorry, that's risk. Your TP should be 20,000, 25,000 instead of 6. You understand? It's just math. It's just math. But the thing is, the dealer gives you leverage. Why? He gives you leverage in hopes that you'll blow your account and over leverage. But if you control the risk and scale the account, you take the leverage and you stick it right back down his throat. That's the point of it. Not everybody is capable of this, and some people might scoff at this and think there's no way I could do that. Okay, but what can you do? What are you capable of? There's some number inside of you. Maybe this seems too out of reach, but there's some number inside of you that you know you want, you know you can get. Did this guy know he was going to hit these numbers? He probably had a general idea, but he wasn't afraid to try. And that's the biggest thing. There's some level of fear inside of everyone at some point in their life about something. It's just part of it. right? I've told you this 100 times, and I'm going to tell you 101 tonight. Courage is bred and born backwards. It's backwards. You do the task, you see that you can do it, and now you have the courage to continue. I scaled out of a 30-story building, 5 floors into the lower floor. Never in my life did I ever thought I'd repel. I was on a special rescue team, literally going to the bathroom in my pants. I was scared, man, scared to death. You do it, you survive it, and you do it again, and it becomes easier, less fear. You jump out the window faster, and you get to the next level faster, and you go back and you do it again. That's what this is about. Okay, there's a few questions popping up. Let me take a look. It's an important topic. Yep. So what do you have to do to get here? You got to do some drills. You got to build some skills. Do some drills and build some skills, right? What are the skills? The skills are box trading, understanding where the market's going, which clearly we understand about 3 levels of count. If you looked at GBP, it had a nice 3-day rise. PMI was coming out. And damn if it didn't print an M and spike right back all the way down and take back the last 3 days. Saw that coming a mile away. Hope you guys did too. But that's the kind of stuff that you make your bones on. All right. So I'm frustrated tonight. I love you guys. You know that, but it's a little frustrating. So I teased it last week about a new drill, about doing some box trading drill. I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about some setup stuff. Hope I can get all the way through it. So talked about, I'm going to try to go quick. Pick one pair, EU, GU, whatever it is. Practice in this pair only. You're trying to learn the nuances, the behavior of the pair. And I want you to stay focused and not jump around. That's the biggest problem, is that people lose focus. They get bored. They think that they're missing out on something. You're missing out on scaling an account by focusing on one pair, and grow the account by percent gained versus how many pips you can squeeze out of one trade. If you can hit 30 pips with a 10 pip stop, 3-to-1, or a 15 pip stop, 2-to-1, and you can do it pretty regular, 5 or 6 times a week, add the spreadsheet and see what the difference is. I promise you in 30 days, you'll owe me a Yacht Master. All right. So we talked about laying out the background, right? You got to have a background. You got to have a storyline, what's going on, right? GBP, I just said the storyline for you. 3 days of rise, beautiful flat print, printed an M top, news came out, spiked it down, took it all back, right? Then it pulled back off the news and made lower price. Consolidated a little bit, made lower price. How do you know? Because the book flipped below the spike candle and kept going. That slow, steady drift, right? If you're trying to go long on that slow, steady drift, it's a beating. Identify your anchor, high or low, moving average cross, something to lean on. Draw a box on every rejection, counter to your trend direction, okay? So I think price is going down today, right? What gives me the clue? I got a flat print on the moving averages, price is sideways, and I'm looking for some kind of M formation as an anchor and starts heading down, right? Okay, so what do I want to do for a box trade? I want to look for things to lean on, draw my boxes out into the future, and I want to look for price to break and retest, and I want to put an order on here, and I want to leave it alone, let it run. I want to get the next level, look for this. I want to put it on, leave it alone, let it run. And I want to see what I'm looking at the end of the day. Just like the high-low drill, it's the same type of thing. But you're looking for every time a box is thrown, 5-minute chart, by the way, you're looking for an area to lean on, something to get in, some reason to give you a continuation, right? If you're trading the high and low of the day, right? That's the whole thing that this entire organization was founded on. My mentor taught me high and low of the day, sell near the high, buy near the low. Now, how do we refine that? Okay, well, if you're looking for the high of the day and you're looking for the low of the day, what about taking the high and low of a cycle If this is the high of the day, this is the low of the day, then what would this be in the middle? This would be an impulse, but in that impulse, there's a high and there's a low swing in an impulse. So why couldn't I trade the high of the swing and get out at the low of that particular swing and take 30? I can. Could I do it again on the next impulse? Could I take another trade for 30? Why would I want to be out right here? Because this would be push 2. Push 2 brings about a 50% pullback of the entire swing. So I could take 30, 30, and maybe one more 30 or 30 and be happy with 60. Use scaling for those two trades. Take the first lot with 10, the first trade with 10 lots, the next trade with 12 lots, whatever the spreadsheet tells me to take. And I've made consistently even money by taking 30 pips and scaling instead of trying to squeeze 50 out of one, 20 out of the other, plus one on the other. I'm taking my float consistently, controlling my risk and scaling the lot size, not the pip amount. Can you always get more pips? Yeah, probably. But there's a cost associated with getting more pips. What does that cost? More screen time, more exposure to the market, hanging around, right? Remember I talked about degradation a couple weeks back? There's always that. The longer you're in a trade, the longer price moves away from entry, there's always other stuff going on. Could be something in the way. It could be an obstacle. It could be the opening price. It could be a box from 3 days ago. It could be a point of control from the week. There's hidden things that we don't have information on all the time. You guys know about profile. I've talked about it and bookmap stuff. Well, there's a weekly profile and a monthly profile. And those levels are big deals for institutions. How do you know that from 14 days ago, there's not a big point of control sitting for the month, right in 27 pips out from your trade, and right when it hits, it turns and takes it away from you? If there's liquidity on the books from weeks ago, the dealer's got to feed that appetite and get rid of it. So that's what causes these inexplicable reversals for no reason. But if you're moving along and taking 30 and you get 27 and you're squeezing behind, you end up with 25 or 24, that's not a bad trade for the day. If you're scaling your lot size, there's growth there. You just put the number in that you booked on that trade and move on to the next one. It'll tell you the lot size based on your win, based on the amount of money in your account. It's a calculator. It's nothing more than a calculator. But the problem is 90% of the people aren't using it, and they send me the stuff, and it like stresses me out that you guys aren't using it. I want to like come over your house and go, just plug the numbers in, man. Just plug them in. It'll work. All right. So when you're building your storyline, what's in the box? What should be in the box? What helps you build a storyline? Where to get your trade-off? Right? You always need to be leaning on something. Right? So why not take some of the basic foundational stuff we've talked about, right? Blue tracer, multiple blue tracers. Right? If you have a blue tracer from yesterday, I've drawn this for you so many times where you get into this flat print and it creates a blue tracer, right? And then it creates another one from the previous high. Then all of a sudden you have like a little bit of a range of two HODs lining up. And then you get a flat print for a couple days, and lo and behold, the price opens there 3 days later. That's a pretty good spot for a reversal, right? You might get a spike above, come back into. That's a pretty good place to take a trade. AR levels, a current low forming inside this box I just talked about, a 50 bounce trade, right? We know what the 50 bounce looks like. You got your moving averages, price crosses over, comes back and tests in here. How to refine that? Refine the entry, right? Get your first spike through the 50 and then refine the entry into the box over here and look for a nice clean tight pull into the direction of the moving averages, the perceived direction after L1 and L2, right? This is L1, looking for L2 push coming out of here after a bounce. The open London shadow box, right? Yeah, the London shadow box. You could take that shadow box. You could take the London shadow box, right? We're highlighting the London high and the London low, and you can AR that shit out. You could even make a mid. Carr has 3 lines on his boxes, man. I've talked to you about the high and low of the day as being an AR type of situation. You can extend the AR lines through those areas. You can draw a box on a flat print high of the day or a flat print low of the day and use AR concepts, right? Mid range as a way to find good entries, right? You get this print like this, then you're looking for something like this or something that would close below here after a break lower. And you can use the London Open. This would be the opening drive in London. Just like the AR box is the spread, initial spread for the market. Right? Flat print, apex nadir thing, London shadow, the open, 200 bounce, 50 bounce, 50 and 200, spaghettiing up together, right? Creating an area. That's a setup. You just got to find something that you see that makes sense to you. That's how you find these things. And then when you find something, if you're excited about it and you think that might be your spot, go back and see how many times it occurred. If you get one every 6 months, that's not a business. It's a hobby. If you get one every 6 hours, you're onto something. Or once a week, twice a week, 5 times a week, that's what you got to figure out. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. Is you got to combine these things to lean on with an entry concept that makes you feel good. You could take a typical M, you could take a typical W that we've talked about, right? You're looking for a failed buy side auction or a spike and pull back below, which is still a failed buy side auction, and then turn sell. Then you could lean here, or you could just wait for the crossover, take the second leg. Shift bar, take the second leg. You can take the retest back into to refine the entry. So you would take an M, right? What's your entry going to be? Take an M and then a micro M, secondary M, 5-minute chart or 1-minute chart. This is the kind of stuff that those returns are possible. All right, every once in a while this happens. I've been teasing it, and I finally got off my butt and did it for you guys tonight. So people ask me about the kind of equipment I'm working with, what's going on in my office, and you guys know I've had all this like crazy stuff. I had like years ago, I had everything built in and marble slabs as my desk and all that. And you know what? I hated it. Money doesn't always buy happiness. I hated it. I get bored with shit, and that stuff was nailed to the walls and glued and stuck, and I had to keep that office arrangement like that for 10 years. Right? It was expensive, and I felt weird ripping it out, but I finally had enough, and I ripped it out. Right? Unfortunately, I grew up poor, or I don't know, lower middle class, and I still have those values stuck in my head, man. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you grew up how you grew up, man. That's like some headbanding shit I got to work on, right? So I left that stuff set up for a long time, and I finally had enough and shredded it. It's out, it's gone. And I just bought some office furniture, move it around, and I have 2 workstations. I've already had like 2 or 3 different configurations, and I settled on this one I'm going to show you tonight. So huge thing you got to do in the business, man. You got to have a clean area, nothing on my desk, clutter free, no plates, cups, junks, all the junks on a separate desk, man. Right? I always try to have the best equipment available. Keep in mind it's a business expense, man. Anything you buy, computers, monitors, routers, all that shit's comes off your bottom line, tax deductible, right? Always max out the RAM for the machine, never less than 64. 128 is the new standard now. That's what you got to have. Machines run beautiful now. And there's DDR5, right? To give you a rough idea, I think I started with DDR2 or DDR3 before they even categorized it. Didn't used to have a number after it. Then it just kept getting better and better. It was just RAM. Now it's DDR5, 4400 megahertz, all this crazy stuff, man. It's just unnecessary. Just configure it the best you can afford. Get on with your life. I never use Wi-Fi to trade. Everything I use is hardwired. Got a gigabit router. My router is the latest one. I'm a huge Netgear fan. Been using them forever, since the beginning of time, all the way back when it was a square little box with like a little antenna sticking out of it. I just picked up this Rax E500. It's pretty great. That's it. That's the gear I'm using, right? This is the router. Shit's expensive. Don't mind this. You get what works for your budget, man. This one just came out about 6 months ago, and I grabbed it right when it came out. I'm on like their, I don't know, their mailing list or some shit. They see, or the suckers list, I guess you call it. But anyway, this is what I'm getting out of this. But this is the thing that you cannot get on Wi-Fi. Okay, so what do I give a shit about sub 10-second ping? Because I want my orders to go ahead of everybody else's. Somebody's running a 25 microsecond ping or a 50 on Wi-Fi, my order's getting ahead of his. So if you're using limit orders, you get filled at price. But if your stop is hit and it turns market, that's when this kind of stuff counts. All right, uploads are 100 and nothing special, right? They still don't have that. I can get some blazing speed coming down, but I can't get it going back up yet. It's around 100. Monitors, I mentioned to you, I bought all these stupid monitors and threw money at them left and right and couldn't figure out what the hell was wrong with me. I'm old and I'm going blind, man. I can't see. So I bought these G5s. I love them. They're pretty fast, but they're curved. They're easy on the eyes. And that 1000R curve is pretty cool. I do notice a difference, but I'm not using 4K resolution anymore. I used 4K for a while, and I felt myself like, I'm embarrassed to say, but I mean, rolling into the screen closer to see it. That the higher resolution made the candles tighter and smaller. I had to expand the charts, and they weren't scaling right. It was very uncomfortable. So I figured out what the hell was wrong with me. And what the hell is wrong with me is I'm going blind and I'm old. You guys know I'm in my 50s now. I've been in this business since I was like 20 years old. I've been in a long time. So this is the monitors I'm using. I got 9 of them. I got 6 on one desk and 3 on the other. It's expensive stuff, but I'm at the point I feel like I earned it, right? So I love Alienware machines. I stumbled on them a while back. I was buying all these trading computers configured, and the truth is they were junk, overpriced, and I'm getting more out of Alienware than I have buying actual trading computers. I had all from the beginning, man. When I first got married, my wife was buying them for me as Christmas gifts. I loved it because it was a tax deduction Christmas present. It's the weirdest thing, but I loved it. Anyway, so this is what I'm running right now. Right, I9, 12.9, the F doesn't mean anything. It comes standard with 32 gig. You just go in the configure and you bump it up. They take care of it for you, and you add a second card. Right, so this is the base price. This is $1,000 upgrade roughly, and another $1,000 for the 128. They trade in the 32 and they bump you up to 128, and it's another couple $1,000. Machine runs fantastic, no problems with them. Tech support's fantastic. I've had them probably the last 4 or 5 machines have been these. But you can listen, this machine probably right out of the box will run great. I don't know how many monitors you want to drive, but these cards got like 4 ports on the back. So if you want to drive 6 or more, you're going to need 2 cards, and that's the expense. That graphic shit got out of control because of mining. I'm sure you guys know about that. People are crypto mining, so these cards are hard to get a hold of. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. The cards are getting cheaper again, but to add a 3070 or even a 3060 or maybe even a smaller number or a totally different brand, maybe you can pick these cards up for 500, and they give you options on the configure. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. So then my screen real estate, what does that look like? Okay, so I got 6 screens. I'm running bookmap for EU on one side, bookmap for GU on the outside edges. These two are driven by a totally different computer, which is another Alienware separate because it's very resource heavy. And I don't want to bog my main machine down with this stuff running. So all the heavy lifting is on a separate machine, and this is just my trading machine hooked up to these 4 in the middle. All right, I initially had all 6 monitors plugged in, and I didn't like the way it was running. It was running hot, and it felt like it was bogging down. And I know it's not supposed to be like that. So the only thing is you go into a task manager and you look at the stuff that's running and the resources, how much it's eating up, and then you start narrowing it down. And it came out to be bookmap was the problem. So I separated bookmap off on a different machine, and that's how I ended up in this configuration. So you have your 2 15 minutes. Let's say I like EU and I don't like GU, right? So I'd kill these, right? I kill this one, drag it down, and I got my 15 or 1.5 here and 1.15 here. Close these off, and I'm just looking at the two main screens. Looking for my entry, and I'm looking for setup. 15 minutes for the setup, 5 minutes to pinpoint, fine tune the entry. That's how we handle that. All right, so 1 hour. I don't use the higher time frames. 1 hour. I don't look at 4 hour anymore because a swing low on a chart is a swing low on a chart. I could see it on a 1 hour clearly, or a 4 hour. It's the same to me. I know Jim likes to look at the D1 trend. I'm looking for a short burst in here to grab 30 pips. So I'm okay with lower time frames to make that entry. That's it. 3 charts I look at. I've been tracking this shit for a long time. It's easy for me to see on that. All right, so here's what the configuration looks like. 6 screens. This is where I trade, and this is where I'm sitting right now talking to you guys. And that has 3 monitors across the top. And I know before you asked, my wife had that sign made for me. I grew up in a bar light neon sign era, and that is as close as you can get to that hand blown today, and I absolutely love it. It's pretty cool. It changes different colors, and I close all the lights in the room at night, and it puts off a nice little ambiance or whatever. I don't know. I'm not right. Anyway, that's it. Nothing magical. This is the keyboard for the machine running these 2 screens, and then I have a tray right here, if you see behind the chair. And of course, I leave the TV on. I got my Fire Stick and my Samsung remote, and I just leave some background stuff on or put some music on or something. Gets lonely down here in the dungeon. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy, man. All stuff right out of the box. Do you need all that equipment? No, you could do it on a laptop, and you could buy one of those screen extenders or just a regular 24-inch 2K monitor or something, plug it right into your laptop nowadays. It's not necessary, but you just get, it's easier on my eyes. I can't see like I used to see. So that's where I'm at. All right, 47. Let's see. I think I'm going to cut it here, man. So here's the deal. This is what I want from you guys. I want you to send me something, man. I know, listen, I know I get backed up on email, but you're not sending me something to send me something. You're sending me something for you to hold yourself accountable to getting your ass in gear. Thank you for the comment. Okay, so do some box drills, do some high-low drills. Okay, so let me take a quick survey. High-low drills coming to an end. We started about 6 weeks ago. I noticed a vast improvement on 4 or 5 people in their trading. They're in my face and told me. The rest of you, I didn't hear anything. So this is how it's like a funnel, man. Here's how it goes. I think 30 people started and they get burnt out, bored, they don't want to do it, they don't see the value in it, and I'm down to like a handful of maybe 5 people left. Those 5 people have stuck it out and are sending me tremendous difference in their trading. If anybody wants to say anything right now, I'll take a look and comment. I know a couple of you were doing it. All right, somebody made a point. If you take 30 pips on 3 trades each, that's better than something that would go for 70. Absolutely. No back testing on box drills. Every drill you do it on the drills you do on a 5-minute chart, high-low drill you do on a 5-minute chart, box drill you do on a 5-minute chart. In real time, draw the box. When it retests, put a sell limit or a buy limit in the box and let yourself get taken into the market and see if you can get it. The idea of the box drill is to find your anchor point, right? Your anchor point for the day, and trade the pullback in every iteration and try to get this part of the chart, right? You're trading away from the low of the day. I tricked you guys. I went long, right? I always go short. The idea is to get away from the low of the day and then take the high low of every cycle, right? There's high low of the day and there's high low of every cycle. You want to try to squeeze out, right? If ADR is 100 pips, you want to try to squeeze out what you can get out of these moves. And if you catch a really good limit entry, you'll be able to easily be able to squeeze 30, 35 pips out of that impulse, especially in pound dollar, right? So let's end it here. Have a good rest of the week. Send me something. Even if you want to curse me out, send me something mean, send me something nice. I don't care. If you're blown away by the percentages that I talked about tonight, send me something. I want to hear about it. The question is this: you know about a plus 5,000% in 30-day cycle now. You know it's possible. You know that 1,000% is possible. So now what? Now that you know that, can you push yourself for 1,000 and maybe end up with 500? Can you push yourself for 1,000, maybe end up with 250, 300? Compound that out over the course of 3 months for the quarter. So if you've been around and you've been grabbing 30 pips consistently with a good risk to reward value, that should be exciting for you right now. You should go hang up this call right now and pull up the spreadsheet and start compounding those numbers in there. And start realizing that if you take 30 pips and you compound it and you tighten up the risk on the backside a little bit, right? I told you this, take 30 trades. That's 3 of those blocks. Plug those 30 trades into the block and then shave off. If you're using a 15 pip stop and a 30 pip take, shave this down to 12 or 10. Now go back and look at these 30 trades and see how many would have survived and how many would have stopped out. Let's say you go 20 out of 30, that's 66%. That's not awful. Now realize I used a 15 pip stop and I got stopped out on 10 trades. Out of those 10 trades, had I used a 10 pip stop, would I have still gotten stopped out on those 10 trades, but I would have saved 10 times 10, 100 ticks of loss or 100 pips of loss. That's an adjustment. The other 20 trades that went right into profit were never threat by this 10 pip stop. Would switching to 10 instead of 15 have gotten me stopped out on more trades than the 10? If the answer is no, then you slide up and all of a sudden you went from a 2-to-1 to a 3-to-1 and you still have the same number of stop outs. So now you're trading 3-to-1 at 66%. Now you're on to something. Can you get it down to 7 pips? Can you refine your entry down to something super tight? Now your R value went from 10R to 20R to 30R. Now all of a sudden you're scaling that sheet at a much faster rate and you're accelerating yourself towards 100% return in 30 days or 200% return in 30 days. Once you break the ceiling, the glass ceiling, whatever you want to call it, once you break whatever it is in your mind that makes you think that what that guy sent me is impossible, and proof of concept to yourself. Lean on what's going on in the group. Lean on it, right? I always tell you lean on something on the chart. I just showed you a group of guys doing 5,000%. Guys in this group, in our class, 1,000+% monthly. Maybe you didn't think that was possible. Maybe it was the way you brought up. Maybe it was the way your parents instilled certain values about money in your mind. But now that you know it's possible, if you're right there, you should never rest again until that's your percent return. Those numbers should make you sick if you're hitting consistent numbers and not scaling at that level. That should make you sick. And if it doesn't make you sick, you're in the wrong business. All right, good night.